Coming up on Wild Card Sunday of NFL Primetime, the Pats look to carry their regular season sweep of the Dolphins into the postseason and get a step closer to defending their AFC crown, while the Dolphins hope their second season brings different results. The Bucs are happy to end an 18-year playoff drought at the Big Sombrero. But will Barry Sanders spoil the playoff party for the home folks? NFL Primetime, coming up next. Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to NFL Primetime for Wild Card Sunday. I'm Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson, starting to piece that playoff puzzle together. And normally we talk about playoff games in the regular season. Today was like the regular season in the playoffs because there were divisional battles.
Rematches.
Interesting and big defensive performances by both home squads. Well, third time a charm. That's the question the New England Patriots were asking at home against the Miami Dolphins. This will be the third time the two teams have played in 5 weeks, the second time they've played in 7 days, and the Patriots, of course, had won the first 2 games by 3 and by 2 points. 9 times since the merger, teams that have swept the other in the regular season have met again in the playoffs. 5 times, this team that won the first 2 won the third. 4 times, the other team came back to win. The Patriots were hoping they would be part of that majority. Here we go. And they would go without Curtis Martin. Took a walk before the game with Pete Carroll, but again, Martin was not there. Jimmy Johnson, first playoff game for the Miami Dolphins. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, first quarter under 3 minutes to go, stopped on third down. Jimmy decides to go for it on 4th and short, but Jabbar rejected by Dave Cowens. And the Patriots hold on defense. Carroll fired up. Second quarter, still scoreless. Drew Bledsoe back to pass, and Trace Armstrong said, it's going to be the longest bull ride in the history of the playoffs. So the Patriots try a 48-yard field goal from Adam Vinatieri. Sails lap. Game remains scoreless early second quarter. Dolphins next possession on first down. And this is kind of the way their offense went. Dan Marino to Blaney Palmely. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. That famous Marino to Ed Perry combination just can't get going. Not quite like Duper and Clayton. Marino's pass tipped in the air and picked up by Chris Slade. Mama, we're all crazy now. Slade returns it 22 yards to the 30-yard line, Tom.
Yeah, we take another look at this. You're going to see Larry Wiggum, the safety, come up, make a great play here. He doesn't knock the ball down. He tips it away from the receiver. You see Chris Slade make the nice reception right there, and then we take another view of it right here. Look at the rest of the Patriots form a nice wall, and Chris Slade do a great job of getting to the sideline.
So the Patriots take advantage after the interception on third down. Bledsoe, Troy Brown on his banner for now. Did he catch it? Is it where? Get the ball. Touchdown. It's now a touchdown, and the Patriots lead at 7-0. A tough but good call.
Nice route, nice pass versus double coverage. You see the safety's a little late getting over, and you see Terrell Buckley not there to prevent the pass to Troy Brown.
Pete Carroll said to Chris Slade, way to get us started with the pick. Oddly enough, and they've won the first 2 games. Bledsoe had not thrown a touchdown pass against Miami this year until that one. So Dan Marino, could he respond? Marino to Troy Drayton, and the blitz, well, he just has to get rid of the ball repeatedly quicker than he wanted to. As on Monday night, the Patriots blitzed him repeatedly. Lamar Thomas, the throw incomplete. Marino looking for Nat Moore. No, it's Lamar Thomas. It's incomplete. Believe me, he was looking for Nat Moore, Mark Duper, Mark Clayton, and all those guys. 6 of 17, 41 yards in the first. It is Dan Marino, greatest passer of all time. Meanwhile, under 2 minutes to go, second quarter, Bledsoe. Terry Glenn playing. Goes down to the 35-yard line, sets up Adam Vinatieri. No good, 47 yards out. So the lead stays at 7-0. Next possession, it's 3rd and 10. 3rd and long, killed the Dolphins. And Chris Slade makes the sack of Marino. 4 sacks on the day for the Patriots. Bob Kraft, don't need the binoculars for this. He knows he likes what he sees. Third quarter, 7-0 score. Second play from scrimmage for Miami. Pass. Todd Collins picks it off. Could go all the way. A vodka Collins for everybody in New England. Touchdown, 14-0. Third time Marino has thrown a pick for a touchdown in Foxborough this year.
Yeah, and look at Todd Collins right there, signaling that the slant is coming on the adjustment. Never looks at the receiver, keeps his eyes on Dan Marino. A nice job of focusing on the ball, taking it to the end zone.
How about 13 picks all year for Marino, 6 against the Patriots. 3 return for touchdowns. Next possession for Miami. More of the same. Ted Johnson had a big game. Had 9 tackles, and there's a sack. Same drive, 3rd and 7. Marino from the shotgun. He's just not going to outrun Willie McGinnis. With Curtis Martinare, Derek Fancy Colors was in. Colors for 6 yards. Derek colors his world for 8 yards. A time-consuming march as Derek became Technicolors, 13 yards. We said Derek LaVille step in yesterday. Colors did it today. Jimmy can't believe it. Same Patriots. I mean, his defense playing pretty well, but this drive chewed him up. Bledsoe to Glenn. 20 yards down to the 10-yard line, inside the 10. Same drive on 3rd and goal. Bledsoe looking for Ben Winter. Coach needed an alteration. Incomplete.
Yeah, Coach, his best pattern here. He goes down. You're going to see him hook up. Ball gets on top of him a little bit quick. He has to reach up with it with his left hand, forward with his left hand. Just a little bit too quick a pass.
Bledsoe and Coach say, don't worry, we got a field goal this time. It's 17-0. This is really the biggest play of the game offensively, just about for Miami. Unfortunately, there's a kickoff return to them. Corey Harris, Vinatieri with a kick save like Jerry Cheevers. Got a flag, too. It held in the 47-yard return. It set up a field goal, 17-3. The Patriots know the battle's not over because here's the onside kick. Scramble. And Miami has the football with the Patriots fold behind Dan Marino's Heat in the 4th quarter. Marino on 1st down, back to pass. Chris Canty, one of umpteen blitzers from the secondary, sacks, and Chris Slade recovers the fumble.
Yeah, and this is called dual protection, where you try to bring the guard out to attack an outside blitzer. Canty makes a great inside move on him, does a good job of knocking the ball out, and Slade, the man on the spot all day.
So that big kickoff goes for naught. Dolphins ball. The onside kick goes for naught. Dolphins ball on 17-3. 5 minutes to go. Lawyer Malloy makes Marino plead nolo contendere. Then Marino to Lamar Thomas. It took him 40 passes to throw for over 100 yards. He bobbled it, but it goes a 42-yard play. 4th and 10, though, on the same drive. Shotgun. Marino with a little bit of time to McDuffie. He caught it going the wrong way. Takes a great catch, but a 10-yard catch turns into like 1 yard, and the Dolphins turn it over on downs. Next play, New England. Colors. No gray area with Colors. He's either good or it's a fumble. But Keith fires balls on it. And remember, he was cut last year midseason by Jimmy Johnson. Whoa. Spikes it towards the bench. Marino and Carroll. A contrast of emotions as New England has beaten Miami for the 3rd time this year, wins it by the count of 17-3. The Dolphins, a team playoff low of 162 yards. Marino threw for only a $141, was sacked 4 times, picked off twice. He fumbled once. Miami ran for only 42 yards. Colors himself at 86. And afterwards, obviously, the New England Patriots talking about defense.
Our defense obviously is playing their best football. You know, they're blitzing all over the field, and the most important thing that they're doing is when they blitz, they're covering the guys downfield. So that today Dan wasn't able to wasn't able to get rid of it quick because his guys were covered, and I sympathize for him. That's a tough situation, but I was happy to see it today.
He knew that we're gonna blitz or whatever, but the people in coverage, it was up to them to get to their responsibility. Understand their responsibility and get the job done.
All I can tell you is they're sending more guys than you can pick up. And I think we did the best we could.
You never know when it's going to be the last game, so, you want to do whatever you can to win, and today we just didn't have anything offensively.
Our football team needs some changes, and right now we need to take a little bit of time to pull back away from this before I can decide what we're going to do. I have no idea what we're going to do right now.
Well, when you get beat by a divisional team 3 times, especially, Tommy, 4 sacks Monday night by New England, 4 sacks again today, And it seemed like, you heard Richmond Webb say, it seemed like Miami had, I mean, New England had like 13 guys on defense because they blitzed, but yet everyone was covered all the time.
You know, just over 160 yards and 40-plus yards rushing the football is not going to get it done. But I think you begin with the matchups that are presented by the New England Patriots, not only on their front line, but with the linebackers and DBs as well. Very athletic, very quick. So they were able to blitz Dan Marino, and they've done this the other 2 times this season, blitz Dan Marino and yet maintain coverage. And I think it speaks directly to the inability of the Dolphins to get downfield with their wide receivers. They lack speed in that wide receiving core. Great job of timing by Chris Slade and Lawyer, Malloy and company coming on the blitz. But when you look at the 4 games that we've seen thus far, and we'll see the other highlight package later on, you see run defense, you see the ability to rush the football, and you see a team not turning the ball over. And I think those are the keys. And then give Drew Bledsoe a lot of credit. He's doing what he's doing without the benefit of Curtis Martin providing balance for his ball club.
Yeah, they didn't burn it up offensively. They only got a little more than 200 yards. But you think of the New England personnel on defense, and I think of Pete Carroll and defensive coordinator Steve Sidwell, because they have had Miami figured out.
That's right.
There is no question, and that's why they beat him 3 for 3. As we go inside the numbers, Miami all of a sudden came to a screeching halt after they beat the Lions on our game on week 15. I mean, today was just more of the same. We're nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They had the shutout at the Colts, the awful shellacking at the Colts, and the 2 losses to New England. That Lion game, they got 33 points. But in the next 3 games, including today combined, just 15 points, averaging barely over 200 yards a game. They turn the ball over lots. They don't score a lot of touchdowns. They got in the playoffs. They'll learn from it. But they're moving out, and New England is moving on.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. www.visa.com.
When you wait this long for a home playoff game, you deserve a couple of bounces. Mr. Ricochet was in the favor of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks, Lions in a moment. Remember that, Mr. Ricochet?
I do.
It's LSU in the Holand Weed Eater Independence Bowl. That's coming up at the top of the hour here on ESPN. There's playoffs next week, Saturday and Sunday, and Countdown in Primetime watches every move. Countdown both days at noon, right up until kickoff, Saturday and Sunday. Primetime at 7:30, both on Saturday and Sunday. When we return, highlights of the late game. Did Tampa get enough offense to offset Barry Sanders and company? Bucks, Lions in a moment. Well, another divisional rematch in the 4th game played on Wild Card Weekend between the Lions and Bucks. And certainly lots of emotion going into this game. Detroit obviously still thinking very much of their fallen teammate, the fine young linebacker Reggie Brown. We all saw that harrowing scene a week ago at the Silverdome. For the Bucks, their first home playoff game since '79, their first playoff game of any sort since '82. When, by the way, the defensive coordinator on that '82 team was Wayne Fonts. Just file that away. 18 years of waiting for a playoff game at the Big Sombrero. Is this the last time I can use Big Sombrero as a lead? Well, number 59. There's Reggie's number on the helmets of all the Lions and players of both teams thinking about him and everyone across America. Trent Dilfer with the ankle. Tony Dungy, first NFL game as head coach in the playoffs. Mike, you're in good hands with Allstott. Very early on with a 9-yard run. 2 plays later on 3rd and 1, Dilfer, the ankle okay. Throwing on the move to Carl the Truth Williams, a very strong throw of 23 yards. 3 plays later, 3rd and 2 from the 4. Jackie Harris, rusty, ball bounces off of the head, a touchdown. Husted kicks a field goal, it's 3-0. Then, John Jett's punt to Carl the Truth Williams. Unfortunately, he was false. It's a fumble. Matt Russell, oh, yeah. It goes out of bounds. The last team to have possession was Tampa. Bobby Ross livid because he said, Russell, you had the ball.
Bobby Ross sending the message to Matt Russell, fall on the football. You have to realize where you are on the field. If you have an opportunity to make a recovery in the other team's red zone, just fall on the football. You're likely to get some kind of a score, either field goal or touchdown.
See that old Buck magic coming through again. But although they do lose Carl Williams with a bruised rib on the play. Warwick Dunn. It's thunder and lightning. Dunn, 9 yards straight in the middle. Had a 100-yard game when they beat Detroit earlier this year in Detroit. Dilfer to Mike Allstott for 11 yards and a first down. 3 plays later, Allstott barrels for the first down. Same drive, 2nd quarter now. Look at Allstott. Stop. I don't get stopped here. The helmet goes flying. He's a warrior, even though he loses the helmet, Tom.
And take a look at his eyes. Even though this action's going on around him, his eyes are wide open. Very special player.
Wow, so special to get him back in the lineup for Tampa Bay. He's been hurt. Dilfer complete to Riedel Anthony, 23 yards on the play. 3 plays later on 3rd down. Dilfer, Horace Copeland, touchdown. But Dilfer at times really winged it. 10-0 Buccaneers, 89-yard drive. 17 plays, took almost 9 minutes. And Barry Sanders, what a great job the Bucs did.
Yeah, the Bucs did a great job of swarming and gang tackling. However, they also did a good job of holding to the backside in case he decided to cut the ball back. And you see that right there. The guys on the backside of the football field making sure they get a chance to make a play.
Only 15 yards rushing in the first half for Barry Sanders, and a pick by Anthony Parker. He was the lion buster. He runs it all the way back to the 20-yard line. Tipped off Scott Mitchell. Michael, come on, Husted. 42 yards. Just makes it. It's good. And the Buccaneers have a 13-0 lead. Ensuing drive on 2nd down. Barry, 6 yards for a first down, but that was his longest carry in the first half. Mitchell to Sanders. But, you know, a lot of times the Bucs said, okay, let me keep him near the sidelines where the sideline can help us make the tackle. 2 plays later, 4th and inches. 4th and inches. Scott Mitchell on a rollout? What?
Odd call, Chris.
Odd call, takes a licking. Things still going Tampa's way. You know, you wait 18 years for a home playoff game, Tom, you're going to get this. Off the hands of a couple Lions. Doink! Back in the hands of Riedel Anthony. Unbelievable play.
Yeah, job, a great concentration. Ball bounces off of Bailey, the defender. Anthony does a good job of focusing on the ball, getting it, tucking it in, getting upfield.
13-0 Bucs at the half. 3rd quarter, first position. Mike Allstott, 7 yards. Then Allstott. Watch this. You're in good hands with Allstott. Touchdown, 20-0. What a run by the Pro Bowl fullback.
This is why he's headed to the Pro Bowl. He has the ability to run through people, but he also has the kind of speed of a tailback where he can run away from people.
Late 3rd quarter, 20-0. The snap to the up man, Ron Rivers, and that's the biggest running play that Detroit had. It's a first down. 3rd and 6, Mitchell scrambles. Derek Brooks, Brad Culpepper hit him. But Scott, dazed, fell back, left the field on a stretcher. And obviously, after last week, no one could believe this scene, Tom. Here's the hit.
Brooks and Culpepper right there get around his head when they made this hit. And certainly he was down for a while, Chris.
And the Lions, what could be going through their minds, thinking now about another teammate, Mitchell, suffered a concussion. The good news is, late reports, stable condition, awake and alert in a Tampa area hospital. Mitchell. Now, Frank Reich comes in with a score 20-3. To Johnny Morton. To Herman's Moore. This is the same Frank Reich that led Buffalo back from a 35-3 deficit in the playoffs against Houston. Touchdown, Tommy Bardell gets the touchdown. Bobby Ross says, you know what? I coached Reich at Maryland for the greatest college comeback ever. It's now 20-10. But Dilfer to Rob Thomas. It's a 50-yard play and a lot of bees down inside the 40. The Lions never get close again. Fireworks. Oh, they're so happy they're going to Venus. The Bucs ecstatic. Barry Sanders not. Tony Dungy, 1 for 1 in the playoffs. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 18 years, well worth the wait. A tremendous defensive job, and they get some big throws from Dilfer and a huge game from Allstott. They win it by the count of 20-10. Barry Sanders, 15 yards in the first half, only 65 overall. The last team he did not get 100 yards against was the Bucs in week 2. Now, the Bucs end the streak of 14 straight 100-yard games. Afterwards, our Sal Paolantonio on the field.
Okay, thanks. What was the key to stopping Barry Sanders today?
The key was a swarming defense. All 11 guys hustling to the football, never saying quit, just going at it for 60 minutes.
Years of futility here. What does it feel like to win a home playoff game?
Well, I'll tell you what, it feels great. As you can hear, the fans are all still here. They're cheering for us, they're happy for us. And it's great to be able to give our fans something like this to cheer about.
And now you have the Packers next week in Green Bay.
Right, you know, another tough game. This will be the 3rd time we face them. You know, hey, 3rd time's been a charm for us. This one, we won it. we're looking to go up to Green Bay and turn some heads up there also.
Congratulations on a big win.
Thank you.
Big Sombrero closes out with a big win for the Bucs. Let's go back to the studio.
What a way to close out the big sombrero. And great, that was Hardy Nickerson, of course.
Yes.
Great team defense. And, you know, and Detroit, confusing play calling, too. Barry only carried the ball 6 times in the first half.
Well, I think certainly the big concern for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when I talked with Tony Dungy this week was how do we stop Barry Sanders? But he told me that we're not going to change very much. We felt like we did a good job 22 of the 24 times the last time we played him of surrounding him and stopping him from getting the big games. Today they did a great job of concentrating and focusing defensively. It takes a lot of concentration to play every single down. They did a good job of holding on the backside. Trent Dilfer outstanding when he gets a running game going with. Chris mentioned Allstott this morning being the guy to kind of put that attack in place at first. He did that. Warwick Dunn made the big plays. This is the formula that Dungy has used all year when this team has been successful.
A couple other names we should mention. Donnie Abraham really holding Herman Moore in check. He's an underrated corner. He had a big job today. We talked about him this morning. And Derek Brooks had 10 tackles, 7 of them solo. They all were great on defense. Tampa moving on. As we go inside the numbers, when you run well in this series, at least this year, that's who wins. Week 2, when the Bucs won in Detroit, the Bucs outrushed Barry and company, Bucs 73-24. Week 7, Barry, of course, hit over 200 yards at 2:15 as the Lions went going away at the sombrero. Today, the number's close, but that fake punt is a lot of those numbers. So Tampa, not a great job running, but a $141 will win you a lot of games. Allstott leading the way with 68, and Tampa Bay goes on to the next round. When we return, game ball, and I think we're looking at some defensive players in these 2 games. Stay with us.
And Players is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save.
Game ball goes to Ted Johnson of the Patriots. Had 9 tackles, 6 of them solo, had a sack. I could go with DBs. I could go with all sorts of players. Ted, you get the game ball. Job well done.
Yeah, and my game ball in game 1 goes to Chris Slade. You look at the numbers, the tackles, the sacks, the interception, the fumbles. Big plays made in every area. In game 2, the quarterback, Trent Dilfer, came up big. 50% completion average, 181 yards a TD, and didn't make mistakes, Chris.
Well, the Tampa Bay defense, Ahana 2, Jackson had sacks, Sapp at 4 solo tackles, Derek Brooks. Barry missed 100 yards 3 times this year. Twice was by the Bucs. You can vote. Ted Johnson, Chris Slade, Bucs defense, Trent Dilfer. Log on ESPN.com. Vote for your favorite primetime player of the night, and the results will be on SportsCenter. When we come back, next week's draw is now totally set. We'll look at the playoff scenarios and the matchups in a moment.
Mike Ditka for 1-800-COLLECT.
Hey, come on, ladies! Hey!
Good shot, guys, and those are the ornaments still hanging on the playoff Christmas tree. So here we go. New England at Pittsburgh, a rematch of that great Saturday game a few weeks ago in which Pittsburgh won in overtime. That Saturday in the AFC, Denver at Kansas City, and what a great game they had earlier this year.
I think you get a great matchup, New England and Pittsburgh. New England's defensive backfields will make it hard for Cordell Stewart to complete passes, but the last time, of course, they played in the playoffs, they had Curtis Martin.
Minnesota at San Francisco is the Saturday game in the NFC, and Tampa Bay at Green Bay, the biggest Bay of Pigs matchup since Kennedy faced off against Khrushchev in the early 60s.
Well, and I think Tampa Bay will come in with a little bit of confidence in terms of the way they played them the first time this year when they only lost by 5 points. A mistake by Trent Dilfer cost of the football game in Lambeau.
Well, we hope everyone's had a happy holidays and